we're gonna go live. You're gonna tell us when. Very soon. Very soon. Like even in 3, 2. Oh! Hello, and welcome to Win the Booking by Preventing Usability Problems in Mobile Apps, presented to you by UX Team by Nearsoft. My name is Kim Lantis. I will be hosting for you today. My function here at Nearsoft is content coordinator as well as internal communication. Joining me as presenters for today's information are Diana Arroyo, hello, UX researcher here, as well as Miguel Medina. Hi Miguel, UX UI designer for Nearsoft. For those of you who may not know us, we are a software development company located in the beautiful country of Mexico. We three are part of a larger team. You can see us there. A team of content creators, designers, researchers, and the like, as well as developers, coming together to power up products. So today in We Talk, I just wanted to let you know what you can expect. So the first question we'll really be answering is, why is usability important for a booking app? And then going beyond that, for booking apps, what are the most common usability errors in online travel agency apps particularly, and how to prevent them. We'll take a look at the top 3 OTA apps that per our research, and of course takeaways, and a time for questions and answers. So if you have any questions for us, go ahead and post those there on the live webinar chat, or you could also do that via Twitter, and there's the handle right up there, Nearsoft UX webinar. So let's get started. Diana.
Thank you so much, Kim and Miguel, for being here today, and thanks for the people who's watching this. So let's start with a little background, and let me introduce the guy who is with me in this picture. His name is Alejandro, and he is my husband. And we love to travel as much as we can, like most of the people. And something that we love about travel is that we like to make all the things related to the trips from scratch. That means that we decide which cities are we going to visit, the schedules. We like to make the bookings by ourselves because we like to have the 100% of control of all the decisions. Or maybe should I say he likes to have the 100% of control, because if we were dogs, this is how we look like. So this will be me, a lazy pug that is always sitting at the couch, eating pretzels and waiting for the email that confirms that the booking is it's complete. And Ale will be a fearless nerd pit bull that loves to find the best deal on the internet. So he puts a lot of effort when we are planning our next trips. And this year we want to visit Japan. So we are doing research about the country and where is the best cities to stay. And one day I was in my cook mode. I was at the couch eating, I think was popcorn, I can't remember. And I noticed something. I noticed that Ale was doing all the work on his laptop. So as a researcher...
Once a researcher, always a researcher.
Of course. So I was like, he is so in love with his new smartphone, and maybe he has 1 or 2 apps to doing that. So why is interacting with the computer? So I asked him, like, do you have an app for that, or why you always use the lab for the planning of this trip? Do you use an online travel agency or services like that? And he said, yeah, I like the way that these services works, but I'm not a big fan of how these services behaves on mobile. So I'm okay with using the lab. So for me that was fine. And then I asked the same question to myself. Diana, do you have an app for booking or something like that? And of course not, because I am the lazy dog, remember? So this question continues on my mind, and one day talking with my colleagues here at the US team, I asked them for a recommendation. Remember? Then I asked you guys, hey, do you have an app that you could recommend me? Because I really want to help Ale with this trip. And most of you guys couldn't recommend me an app. You recommend the services.
Great.
but the services are used that you recommend was for online, for websites. So let's face it, we are a group of nerds that we love what we do, and we wanted to find the reason that why we recommend these services for desktop versions, but not for apps. So we decided to figure out. We decided to let's find out why is that. Why we use these services, but not in our phones. So all this starts with a great source that we found on internet, something with Google, and we got our first step here in this research.
Yeah, so we discovered through the study, as Diana said, by Google.com, that, well, 69% of travelers said that mobile usability is their main reason for booking on other devices. So it's an alarming percentage that impacts directly in the user retention, which is kind of bad. Well, it's not kind of bad, it is bad. Let's keep it that way. Because in a way, it will be reflected in your up return of investment. So, to have a clear understanding of why usability is so important in mobile travel apps, first let's define what is usability exactly. So, usability is the extent to which a product can be used with effectiveness, efficiency, and satisfaction in a specified context of use. In other words, it's how hard or how easy a user can use, in this case, travel apps. Or, in some other words, is, or at the end, is the phase that people make when they're using a product, based on whether the experience is positive or negative. In this case, we can have happy faces, neutral faces, surprise faces, and in the worst scenario, sad faces. So, why is usability so important for booking apps? They're important because the entire experience in the mobile devices can be complex enough for travelers, and let's get real in this statement. They don't want to waste their time. They want things to be easy, to be effective, and having a proper care of your app usability will certainly improve the effectiveness, efficiency, and satisfaction of it. So we're going to highlight the three key elements that we mentioned in the usability definition. And the first one is effectiveness. And we have some metrics here that said 45% of travelers said that they switch apps if they take too many steps to book or get the desired information. If in efficiency, is 52% of travelers said they will switch to another app because it takes too long to load. That's, well, it's switching to app from app to app in order to get the efficiency that they want, the desired outcome they want or desire. So the last one is satisfaction, and 88% of travelers will switch to another app if they don't find the needs that satisfies what they're looking. So all of these three key elements combined impacts directly on how the usability is on your travel app. So it's very important to take care in consideration those key elements when you're designing or developing a travel app.
As a non-researcher, as a non-designer, I really liked that relatability, because sometimes words like usability can seem so out of reach. But when you think about breaking it down to just the simple facial expression that someone makes when they're using your app or your product is an indicator of usability, and I think that's something that anyone, including myself, can definitely relate to. So what we went ahead to do, and so we've already talked about usability. We've even talked about why it's important for booking apps in particular. But now let's get into the nitty gritty of what are the most common usability errors, particularly for online travel agency apps. And to do that, we started our own research, right, Diana?
Yes.
And we decided to choose the top 10 online travel agency apps of 2017. And we were able to figure out who those were using skift.com. And so it was determined, there they are, you can see them. Go to booking.com, Expedia, Priceline, among our research subjects. So let's talk about that research a bit. How did we do it? What did we use?
Well, in this case, we use heuristic evaluation. And what is exactly heuristic evaluation? Well, a fancy definition of an heuristic evaluation is an inspection method where an evaluators examine the interface and judge its compliance with recognized usability principles. That sounds hard to understand. I know it. Sorry about that, but it has to be said it that way. But in other words, an heuristic, it's finding out. So we're going to find out and prevent usability problems in the user interface. That's exactly what an heuristic evaluation is, based on 10 usability principles that comes from getting feedback from the travel app, or having the right uses of the navigation, having consistency where on all the product, preventing errors or fixing the errors in the application, to how the app looks on design wise. So that's an heuristic evaluation, and the way it's done, it's we will have these 10 usability principles on a questionnaire, and we're going to have at least 5 evaluation checkpoints within those usability principles, and the evaluator will rate the severity of the checkpoint with a value, and this value can go from 0 to 5, and have it can pass or it can fail the rating. So 0 is the worst case scenario, and 4 is the right, the top.
Yeah, it's
Backwards.
Yeah, it's backwards. Yeah,
Really?
Yeah, from 0 to 4. 4 is the catastrophe. Remember
The
that?
most severe.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
So
but
we
it
think
works
if you
in the way
surprise-
that you explain it. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to have based on our research, that OTAs apps struggle the most with 3 main common usability errors.
Mm-hmm.
And as you can see on the chart, represent the results of the heuristic evaluation that we made, as well as the opportunity areas that are shown on the chart. And the closer the blue line gets to the outer circle, the more severe the usability issue will be. And these 3 main opportunity areas are the design, the effort, and the errors. So I think Diana is going to explain a little further on those topics.
Yeah.
So what we're looking at here is a compilation of our evaluation of all top 10 apps.
Yeah,
right?
is the summary
It's
of
a common
all.
thread that we're seeing amongst the top 10.
Exactly, exactly. And we highlighted the 3 that Miguel already mentioned. So let's see each by of these principles where these errors are common in these OTAs and ways to prevent them.
Perfect.
The first error that these 10 OTAs has in common, it's related with the effort. This heuristic, basically what it says is that the app should be smart enough to be efficient for new users, new time users that they are trying to interact with your product, but also for users that are already engaged, users that come back very often.
And this is important because going back to our statistics, nearly half of people are going to bail if they find it to be too hard.
Exactly.
If I have to take too many steps, we're pugs, right? Everybody's a pug. We're lazy potato chip eating pugs.
Of course.
Half of us anyway.
Yeah, and it's a way to encourage these lazy pugs to use this product, right? So a way to prevent an error like this is for example, help to advanced users that are maybe like Ale, these fearless pitbulls that there's always looking for best deals, adding, for example, shortcuts to make easier the, the interact with the app. Here we have an example from one of these OTAs that we review, and this is from Expedia. So we have to download the app and create an account just to see the results. And at the beginning, it was okay because the app was smart enough to detect that the app was downloaded on Mexico. So for that reason, presents all the information in Spanish because this is my native language. So this is cool. Expedia knows me and speaks to me in my language. And then I put myself in the shoes of Ale, and I tried to be a pit bull and not a lazy bug and say, you know what, I'm going to find the best deal. I know that we are doing this research, but I'm going to find the best deal in Kyoto because at that time we didn't have the reservations for Kyoto. So I was looking the different results that Expedia present me, and I found something that it was so cool that I almost run with my phone and say, hey Ale, I found this best deal. Look at it. I'm helpful here for this trip. But something inside of me told me like, come on, Diana, this is so good to be true.
What was it? You're referring to the price of
Yeah, of course,
78.52.
because as you can see, the price is 78, and
So if this are so like here
That's a
that's like the
bargain.
price of like going out to lunch.
yeah, and I was like, oh my God, this is so cool because there is also an exclusive area of Kyoto. It's one of the most touristic and popular, right, Miguel? You went
Yeah.
to Japan before. So imagine my face
Like I could
at
stay
that
at a
moment.
hotel for the price of lunch.
Yeah. So I decided to review one or two, three before to present this deal to Ale. And tapping here, tapping there, I realized in my settings account or cuenta that it shows here that the default country and the default currency was United States, and of course the price was in dollars, so it wasn't true.
Not a bad
But
price, but not the price
it's
of
not
lunch.
it's not a bad price, but at the beginning I thought that maybe Expedia was, I don't know, give me something because I was first time user or whatever. And it was weird because a way to prevent an error like this is to be consistent. So if you are speaking to me in Spanish because you know that this app is downloaded in Mexico, it's okay. But be consistent with the default country and the currency because I passed from the happy face to the completely sad and disappointed face.
And then you went to the, phew, I'm glad I didn't say anything to Ali.
Of course. And then something even more weird happened, and I found a job opportunity here. Below of all these settings.
Lucky you, Diana.
Well,
So I guess there's a job opportunity at Nearsoft
I'm
Research
still
as well
think
for
about
me.
it. Yeah, I'm still think about it because they say we are hiring, so it sounds like another job opportunity. But at the end, the usability phase that we put for Expedia was
As far as effort is concerned.
totally confused because at the beginning Expedia speaks to me in a language, the default country was another one, and then they are offering me a job opportunity. So the entire experience was not efficient, not consistent, and it was poor and slow. And
You
to
felt
be
like
honest,
you worked a lot.
yes, I felt that I put a lot of effort creating an account to give nothing. So sorry about it. The second error that we found in common in these OTAs is related with the error prevention. There is a quote, I can't remember who is the author. If someone in the audience know who is, please tell us and we are going to give the credit. But this quote says that the best designs don't only have a great recovery, but prevent users from making those errors. So this heuristic refers to how the app should be prepared to anticipate and prevent people's mistakes rather than helping users to correct them. In other words, people always make errors and mistakes because we are humans. But there's ways to prevent these errors. So this heuristic talks about of this. And if this happens, that means if the people make an error, the app should facilitate its correction.
Right.
So here we have an example of how an error can be prevented in some way. This is from booking.com. So again, I was trying to be this pit bull, and I was looking for a great deal in Kyoto again. And something that happened here is that I was trying to browse, search, and look for the different recommendations, and Booking started to place a lot of different ads, offering me different things that at that moment I wasn't ready to commit. I was looking specifically a hotel, and I was completely distracted with all these ads for my main goal. The main goal here is book a room, win a booking, and you are distracting users offering different things. So a way to prevent this is like here in the right side, we have the way that Kayak does it. And the thing here is that they present you a big photo with a summary of the price in a clear way,
Right.
without distractions. So in that way, you are preventing people who will be distracted of their main goal by offering different things. So Kayak lets you to decide, and once you commit with this booking and you win this booking, they offer you something else, like these
Right.
free guides for traveling in Kyoto, something like that. So that's a
Which
way.
could have its time and place, but it's after you've achieved your main goal.
Yeah. We are not saying that it's not a good practice to do that, but if you want to win this booking, let the user book that room and then offer more things. That's the way that it should work better.
Don't throw them barriers if they're going to book something, right?
Exactly. One step at a time. Here we have another example of how errors can be prevented. Here we have an example for, it's Priceline. And they are helping people to prevent an error in a important part of the whole process. The user decides to download your product, browse for the different recommendations, select one, and complete the checkout. But in the final part of this whole entire workflow, an error is pointed that it's okay because the app is telling you, hey, these fields are required. But there is also needed a ways to how this field should be filled, with providing hints, providing a short description of what is required for complete the transaction. A way to prevent an error like this is like hotels does it. Here they are offering you a way to fill this data and complete the checkout by providing you hints, instructions, and pointing you where is the error.
Right.
So
in the first one, it's like, hey, there's a problem. And
Yeah.
Like, thank you, and what?
But what the problem is,
yeah, below there they have a small description, but it's not completely efficient. There's something else. In the right side, we have that way to prevent it.
And I'm sorry, I didn't catch the name of the right side app.
It's hotels.com.
Hotels.com. Okay.
Mhm.
Thank you.
So remember, always provide helpful information in the context forms. But the best way to prevent errors, it's the way that Agora does it. Here they take advantage of the whole user interface, and they place in a big way the calendar and the days where you are going to check in and check out. Something that happens, I don't know if this happens to you guys, but when I am trying to book a room, sometimes I tend to forget that the day that you
Check in or check
the
out.
day that you check out, it's part of the reservation, so it counts like a night.
Actually happens a lot to me. I get really nervous when I'm doing those kind of things.
If I recall from a past webinar,
Yeah,
you actually
I had an issue with that. That's why it's very,
I
very
remember
sensible tissue there.
you have to spend a day on the airport or something like that.
No, I lost the flight.
You lost the flight. Yeah, well, I remember people make errors and mistakes, like
Yep.
Miguel, like most of the people. And a great way to prevent an error is the way that Agora does it. And here they not only presenting you this big calendar, but also in the final call to action, they are telling you how many times you are booking. 5 nights. So you have a chance to think twice and say, oh, okay, there are 5 nights. Instead of invest time to contact to the customer service, trying to add or edit the reservation, or even worse, cancel the reservation and lose the bookings.
Which is really useful because sometimes 3 days, 2 nights, and you're like, okay, but like this is like I'm going to sleep at this hotel 5 times.
5 times, 5 nights, yes. So our usability phase here, it's a happy phase for the way that Agora is preventing errors instead of fix it, right? And finally, we have the third error that we found from the global results from the research, that it's related with aesthetic and minimal design.
Which kind of links back to the error prevention. When you look at those two, like the one that's all mocked up with, check out this free guide and this and that and whatever, and then the other one to help error prevention is cleaner as well. So would you say that they're very correlated?
Yeah, it's difficult. I feel like that, like the bad girl here to comparing, but for me personally, it was so stressed to review the deals on Booking, because also the ads and the different messages that there is only one room left stress me a lot to make a decision. And this kind of ads makes you people also make these errors and mistakes, or tend to forget how many nights, or if you are booking
or
for
just
2
fail
guests.
the app altogether.
Exactly, yeah. So this final common error is basically a principle that most of the products have in common. And this principle says that all the products should have the less amount of information and be products that comes from, whoa, that's nice, it works, I like it, to become the, whoa, this is the best product in the world, I'm going to recommend to all my colleagues. Something that I was expecting at the beginning when I asked you guys that if you use one of these OTAs in a mobile version. So be the product that comes from the wall to wall, okay?
Product that we deserve, right?
Yeah, the product that we deserve, yeah, of course, yeah, why not? And we have an example of how Agora does it very well. And let's start with something that is true and we need to face it. All the people in the world has a budget, okay? It doesn't matter if Miguel is rich and he forgot to reserve.
Which I am.
Plan. Yeah, I know you are rich. So
And proteins, of course.
yeah, sure. So it doesn't matter if you are rich. Maybe your budget tells you that you want to look only for first class flights, or maybe you are looking only for luxury rooms, and it's fine. But maybe you are traveling in a small budget, like Ale and me, and you want to find the
room
best
for the
deal.
price of lunch.
Of course, like this 78 pesos that I thought that I found it in Kyoto, right? So the way that Agora does it here, it's something that we like it so much, and we want to present you in a way to pass from this okay product to become the wow. And the thing here is that they speaks to you in a language that travelers understand, and let you decide, hey, set your price range and view only deals that match with your budget. But this feature, it's very common in most of these OTAs. What makes this feature special is the example that we have in the right side. Please, Arturo, thank you. So here we have
the way that Agora does it. They let you to have the 100% of control of how do you want to see the results. Do you want to see it by total estates, including the taxes and fees, average per night, including, of course, taxes and fees, base per night, and which currency do you want to see it? At the time when we download the app, we were at the United States, so the app is installed in English. So the suggested currencies are consistent with the language that the Agora presenting the information.
Right.
But also, it's smart and efficient to understand that right now I'm reviewing the results in Mexico. So they suggest me that, hey, do you want to see the results in Mexican pesos, or do you want to see it in Japanese yen, because the room that you are looking for
Right.
is in Japan. So you are completely in control of how you are going to see the information. So in that way, you have a product that not only shows you best deals or different booking options, but also you have the control of how do you want to see the information. So that makes you feel that you are in control of all the decisions, and all the things that you are going to see is something that you decide how to see it.
Right.
How do you want to review it? So this is the wow factor that most of the travelers and most of the people want in a product, and as Miguel said, we deserve it.
Right. The wolf factor, but let's talk about the aesthetics a bit here. Like, what are you seeing? What also makes this visually
Visually, the app has a great interface. The color palette, personally, I don't know if Miguel it's agree with me, but personally, I like it so much. It makes me feel happy. It's clean. It's easy to scan all the different recommendations. So for that, we decided to provide the 3 different happy faces to Agora, because they let us feel that this is a product that is easy to use, is surprisingly in a positive way, and also makes you feel trust
Right.
with the prices that you are seeing. Something that we couldn't experience interacting with Expedia, for example, that it was not consistent.
works? So, at the end of your research, you found these top 3 errors. You found how we could prevent them or improve upon them if our apps are falling into that same category. But what did you decide as the top 3?
Chun-chun-chun. Well, the first one is Priceline.com, because it loads faster and it's easy to interact with. It may sound like it's not a big deal, but it is a big deal. To have an app that works intuitively and loads fast, it's a win-win situation for users. So
Right, 'cause going back to
kudos
this
there for
statistic, half the people are
Priceline.com.
gonna, If
Yeah.
it takes too long, I'm gone.
Yeah, exactly. And the second one is Kayak, because it presents all the information in a clean way, and it makes you scan all the information without having visual noise, and
Makes you
guides.
feel less stressed.
Yeah, exactly, and guides the user exactly for what they're looking for, and that's, well, something really cool. And the third one, it's
Obviously.
obviously Agoda. And Agoda, it's the only OTA in our research that covers the 10 usability principles and makes a product from wow, as Diana said, to wow, this app is great.
And we are going to recommend.
Yeah,
all
man,
the
it
colleagues.
speaks a familiar language. It has a great user interface.
Yes.
It gains trust of customers and makes you feel like you're booking and planning a trip with a friend, a person who is speaking directly to you. And
Yes.
personally, when I was evaluating this app with the heuristic evaluation, I was frustrated because I couldn't find any negative things to say about this. And I was very surprised because it's really, really a very good app. So congrats, Agoda.
Yeah.
So the moral of the story here is, Diana, you weren't able to present Ale with a 78 peso hotel, but you were able to say, look, I found a mobile app that I think you'll like.
Yeah. On the
Yeah,
bright
so-
side.
So he can now continue booking and making the reservations at the couch with me and eating pretzels and popcorn, I think. So congrats to the team,
Yeah.
to Aura, because they are creating a great product, and we want to congratulate them, from the UX team to the development team, and even if the CEO
Designer,
is watching
everything.
this,
Yeah.
congrats.
Right.
because-
Kudos there.
So
Yeah.
inspiration tools for people who are building OTA apps or similar bookings, and
Yeah,
go ahead and check these three out in particular for
yeah,
what you could do right.
totally.
Yeah. So we're now going to move forward with our famous takeaways.
Yes.
So if you could do us the honors, Kim or Diana, please.
Jenna.
Okay, so the first takeaway is mobile usability. All this research starts with this question about why do you like the OTA services, but you are not a big fan of how these services behaves in mobile. So we decided to figure out and find what was the reason, and all it's related with usability, and maybe this 69% of the people who is like Ale deciding to, you know what, I'm not going to interact with this service on my phone, but I'm going to use it on my laptop. Maybe you can lose this kind of users at this transition, and they decide to, you know what, I'm not going to use your desktop version. I'm going to look for another OTA, another competitor.
Right.
So you are not only losing a user, but also your bookings. So be attention with that. The second takeaway is related with prevent instead of fix. This quote that say that the best designs not only have a great error recovery, but prevent users from making those errors. It's about to take 2 or 3 steps forwards to the what the people can do, or what in which situations can they can fail. Okay, so always try to provide clear information and instructions on how to interact with your product, so to prevent the people to commit these errors and mistakes, and invest time in contact to customer services and lose these bookings. And finally, add something else to your app. Be this wall-to-wall product, and right now travelers are expecting more that you offered, and travelers are people that, as Miguel said, we deserve the best designs and the best products. So create products that not only works but also speaks the traveler's language and understand all the expectations and go beyond of these expectations, like the example that we present from Nagoda that led me the 100% of control of how the result is going to be presented, not only with the budget, but also in the currencies, in the total states, and all these kind of different features that they has, and make them feel like this is the best product and I am happy and pleasant to interact with it. So basically, this is our takeaways.
Very, very good. So, folks, if you have any questions for us, you can go ahead and write them there on the live webinar page, or send that tweet to Twitter. At this point, I'm not seeing any questions published. We'll hang out for just a minute. But we do want to tell you thank you on behalf of Nearsoft. And of course, if you want to know more, you can reach out to us, ux.nearsoft.com, to learn more, or you can reach out to Miguel and Diana directly. And there are their email addresses, and Medina and D. Arvayo. So, Miguel, Diana, thank you. Any last
Thank you.
kind of final words?
Thank you guys. Thank you UX team for being so nerds and help me with this research, and also to Arturo, who is behind the cameras. Hello, Arturo. Thank you so much.
Very good.
And see you next month.
Yeah, see you next month.
Cool.
Goodbye.
Until then, have a great day, folks.
Bye.
Bye.